December, the House of Representatives is considering a constitutional amendment bill seeking to ban the public parade of suspects by the police and other law enforcement agencies. The proposal follows sustained criticism of the practice by human rights groups, civil society organizations, as well as the judiciary. It is part of recommendations adopted by the House Committee on Constitutional Review, chaired by the Deputy Speaker, Benjamin Kalu. The bill seeks to amend Section 34 of the 1999 Constitution by expanding the definition of torture and degrading treatment to expressly prohibit the public parade of arrested persons. A debate is expected when the National Assembly resumes from its recess. Joining us now to discuss this is the senior legal practitioner, Barrister Fred Nzeako. We also have Emmanuel Ikule, a security analyst, who will be bringing a bit of perspective from a security standpoint. Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Now, from a legal standpoint, does a public parade of suspects currently violate any provisions from the 1999 Constitution or international human rights laws? That is for you, Barrister.
A public parade is a clear violation of the fundamental rights of the citizen being paraded on several grounds. One, the Constitution provides in Section 34 that every citizen should not be dehumanized or the dignity degraded. Thereby, maintenance of the dignity of human person is the provision of that Constitution. Secondly, Nigerian law provides that an accused is considered innocent until proven guilty.
100%.
And the public parade means that the person has been judged, accused, judged, and sentenced or convicted by that public parade. Because what it now means is that the person has been judged to be guilty even before investigation is concluded and even before the person has his day in court. Nobody should be confirmed guilty except by a competent court of law. Thirdly, it violates the fundamental rights of citizens as enshrined in international laws and statutes and conventions. Both the African Charter on Human and People's Rights and United Nations laws against the dehumanization of the human person. So I think, and the most annoying part of it is that there's no provision in our laws that supports such an anachronistic act of the police and other security agencies. What they do is that they are the accuser, they are the judge, and they conclude that the accused or even the suspect is guilty by such parade. And at the end of the day, even when the suspect is not found guilty by the court of law, there is no remedy. There's no remedy that avails the person whose dignity and whose integrity has been violated by the security agencies. So I stand with the National Assembly on this very strongly, just to make sure that it is codified, that the police and security agencies should stop that. The courts have said they should stop so. So many judgments and decisions of court have warned the security agencies to stop parading suspects because it is against the provisions of our laws. But they continue to act in a breach of the provisions of the laws and the pronouncements of courts. Now they want to make it expressly clear in that section as to add that fact that anybody who does so would not have a hiding place because that is completely and clearly against provisions of the law.
Barrister, if I may, when we look at it from an international standpoint and we look at the laws, when an individual is arrested, of course, there is the issue to Mirandize them, where you read them their rights. Do inmates, what are the particular rights that inmates or people that are suspects have that they can, try and veto this specific thing? Do they have rights? People that are arrested, up until, like you said, you are innocent until you are proven guilty. Do they have rights to not participate in this activity? What are the rights of the people when we speak of humanitarian rights and the rights to not be made a public spectacle of?
I'm sorry, I didn't get you. The line was frozen.
So my question to you is, taking into consideration the law and the rights, when a person is arrested, under international law, a person would be read their rights, which is to Mirandize them. My question to you now, like you had said, that Until a person is proven guilty, they are innocent. What are the rights of a person that is still yet to be proven guilty? Do they have a right to decline being made a spectacle of in these parades?
The person, the suspects have rights not to be paraded, but they don't have the competence and the capacity to stop the parading. They don't have the guns. They don't have the instruments of coercion. The police will just parade them under coercion, under intimidation, and under a dehumanized condition. In some cases, remove their footwear, remove their shirts and their tough clothes, and then drag them to the floor, make them to sit down on the bed floor, and the next thing, place a handcuff on them and parade them. At that point, what does the poor suspect have to do to defend himself, other than to just be following sheepishly like the sheep guarded to the gallows? And that is why it is the duty of the law, it's the duty of the society to defend such helpless and hapless suspects until they have had their day in court. If they don't have their day in court, their dignity must be respected, and that is the international convention, and that is the standard practice all around the world. Nigeria should not be an exception, and that this Nigeria's practice is anchored on a colonial mentality, whereby the colonial master would want to prove to the suspect that he has no chance of standing shoulder to shoulder against the suspect.
Right.
Let me tell you, the way the law is structured these days in our constitution, in our constitutional democracy, is that the suspect has rights, and it is the duty of the security agencies to disprove such rights and ensure that they have their day in court according to the provisions of the law.
Thank you. Mr. Emmanuel, I'd like to move to you and get your take from a security standpoint. In as much as we're looking at what the impact could be if, banning these public parades would be on the suspects, my biggest question, which I asked as well in the previous in a previous conversation, what exactly from a security standpoint is the goal of these parades?
Before going to even your question in the first place, in 2015, to guide and ensure speedy dispensation of justice, where a law was enacted, that's the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, and part of it was to ensure that some of these issues we're talking about here in the first place are being addressed. There's no benefit actually in parading people outside for the sheer political agenda of maybe selling to the people or showing to the people that we are working. That is just the main thing, because one, the law doesn't permit you as any security agency to do that in the first place. Secondly, just like the barrister said earlier, you are going against, you are abusing the rights of the person as being contained, as is being contained in section 34 of the 1999 Constitution. But to even go further to even that.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Emmanuel, your network seems to be lagging. Barrister, if this is a question that you can answer, please, would you assist? All right, apologies for that glitch. If we do get them back, we will continue on this critical conversation.